Welcome to the Let's Talk BS podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm Sofia, and we're coming to you live from the
757, where we discuss real estate,
culture, and current events.
Good morning. How y'all doing today, ladies?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great. Doing great.
Doing pretty good.
Good. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
So, look, I'm not used to doing the introductions. Look, usually, Bryan handles that.
Hey, look, you called me out on
For the
mine,
past
so
2
I'm trying to see what I need to do since you called me out on mine. I'm trying to see how I need
Stay
to
ready,
do
so you gotta get ready.
You know what I'm saying?
You didn't prep me on this,
Oh, man. Oh, man.
So today we got a special guest. Her name is Rashida Mahoney. She is a retired Air Force veteran. She is a cancer survivor.
I am.
Right? She is a real estate agent, and you've been in the business for about, 4 years?
No.
3 years?
This is my
2
second
years.
year.
Dang.
She knew in the game.
Look,
She a veteran in the military, but not real estate. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
And she is here today to discuss real estate. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. See, that was good. Look, I'm sitting here taking notes. Make sure I take notes because I'm not good at all of that. What's going on, Rashida? How you doing this morning?
I am blessed. How you guys doing?
Doing pretty
great.
good.
Yeah.
Great.
Finally caught up on a little bit of sleep.
Man.
I slept in today. I looked at my phone. I said, "Dang, it's 5:17."
You woke up to the sun going up?
No, the sun went up yet. On my side, it don't come up till like 6:30.
Oh.
Yeah, it do come up pretty late.
Yeah, it's pretty late.
I go to the gym and come back, and it's
still dark.
Yeah, it's still dark outside. Yeah.
That's that winter life.
Yeah.
It is.
Did y'all see that Trump trying to eliminate?
I saw that too.
They tried to eliminate daylight. He was like, "It's stupid."
Yeah, I saw that.
You know how he talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
A lot of people don't observe it though, for real. I mean, a lot of people don't. Like, I feel like I remember I was just in Colorado. I think in Colorado, like in that mountain time zone.
Yeah,
they don't do daylight
Yeah.
savings time.
I mean, what is the reason?
I don't know. I never really looked into it. Do y'all know?
We're going to have to Google it.
No.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out and see what it is. I don't know.
I Googled it before, but it wasn't a stickable reason. So I'm thinking that there is no real honest reason.
Not anymore.
I think that it stemmed from because of how the sun changes in the morning for a lot of people. Because if we didn't have daylight savings, you see right now it's getting, light at 6:30. You wouldn't get light till like 7:30. So we'll have a lot less daylight per se. So I think they wanted to try and extend daylight time. So
I think
that
had to do with work back in the day.
Maybe.
Like the
Could've.
Industrial Revolution or something.
Could have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put people to work
Slaves.
earlier,
That's what that was. Let's change this daytime. So you work during the daylight, right? I mean, that's really probably where it gets.
I'm not disagreeing. I don't know. I don't know.
You pick coffee in daylight.
Yeah. It probably. I mean, if it goes back that far,
that's when you go inside.
They said the early bird get the worm.
Yeah.
Change up the time.
Change the time.
Yeah. Yeah, man. But yeah, I saw that too, man. That But yeah, I saw that too as far as the whole daylight savings time. So we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't mind that change. I don't know.
That part, and that one I don't look. That one, that's What is something sweep that under the rug? That's nothing. Right. That's the least of our worries in the United States.
Yeah, that's a fact.
All the things we got going on here.
I do miss the sun going down later. When I lived overseas, the sun would go down at like 9 p.m.
Yeah, when I lived in Michigan, and I would talk to when I lived here in Virginia, I would talk to my dad. Our sun would go down about 8. And we always talked on FaceTime, and it was still bright for him. It didn't go down to like 9:30.
Yeah.
And that's just, 14 hours away. So it really just depends on where in the United States you live.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, it's also one of them things where, I mean, like you said, I know here, like the time zones is different, right? So
no, it's not different from Michigan.
No, I wasn't talking about Michigan.
Oh.
Yeah. I was talking about just like in general when it comes to like where, because I referenced Colorado, where the daylight savings time, where I know they don't have it, so just like knowing, there, like I know I was talking to my parents because this was still, I think it was October when we went, so it was still technically beginning of fall, I guess you can say at that time. So it was definitely more sunlight later there than it was, here. I FaceTime. My parents checking on the kids, and they were outside, and it was like getting dark, and it was like bright day, where we were at. So
yeah.
Well,
I guess we'll wait and find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what you been up to these past 2 weeks? It's been a minute.
Yeah, let me see. I think last pod we recorded, it was right around my birthday. So, yeah, that weekend, Brooke had did a nice, like, birthday day for me, I guess you could say, because my birthday fell on that Wednesday, and we recorded, I think, that Thursday or Friday. Yeah, so that Saturday, went down to the beach, got, like, a whole little spa session at the Cavalier, so that was really cool.
Okay, Brooke. She did good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then we went to get, like, I guess, like a late lunch, early dinner, happy hours kind of time frame at the Atlantic. Atlantic's like my favorite place to go down there. I got $1 oysters during 3 to 6. So we go through like 50 oysters during that time, man. So that was cool. They got really good drinks there too. Then after that, we kind of just walked around, man. It was really cool. Like, speaking of like daylight savings time, like, it's getting dark, now it's like around like 4:45, 5 o'clock here.
Right.
So we were like walking around during that time and to kind of see the sun go down, like they have everything lit up pretty nice down that end on the north end. I'm gonna end up getting a house out there, man. I can see that happening, man. 'Cause I just really like going in that area, you know what I mean? So we just kind of walked around a little bit, hung out in that area that evening. We stayed there. We ate at, had like a dessert at Orion's Roof, had a couple drinks or whatever up there as well. So it was cool. That was cool.
Nice.
And then since then, what else, man? My last weekend, my sister, it's crazy, man. I'm still like baffled by this, man. My sister's actually getting married.
I was like, are you baffled by that?
Because it's my little sister,
Okay.
man. So just to see like another man, like, in her life, and like, she's actually taking that step of marriage, which is a really big thing, So just to kind of see that, it's still
That's
like
beautiful.
boggling to me. But so yeah, she's getting married in January. So this past weekend, she had her bachelorette party down at the beach as well. So just hearing that, like they did like Brooke went, she told me they did like a little like stripper pole like class and all that. I'm like, man, what in the world, man? Like,
Have you done that before?
No.
Listen, I've done it
Pole
twice.
dancing?
I think I ain't got the upper arm strength for that anymore.
So I walked in the place, and one time it was a guy who taught it, and then the other time it was an actual stripper who taught it. So the time that it was an actual stripper, I walked in there, me and my friends, and we were going to a bachelorette party. So we get in there, and it's, multiple poles. So she looked at me and was like, I know you can do this. Then I looked at her and was like, no, ma'am. I got on that pole. I couldn't even get up
See,
it.
that's a different kind of strength.
yeah.
What?
Them girls are strong.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah. Anyway, I just don't even like hear about it. Yeah, my
You
sister.
don't like
yeah.
to think about it. Think about
Nah, I'm talking about not. I mean, not
you.
you.
Don't
I'm
like
just talking
think about
about.
stripper?
No, I'm talking about again. I was talking about my sister,
that
man.
situation.
Yeah, not your situation. I was
Right.
talking about what I was talking about. Yeah. So like this, that they had the bachelorette party this past weekend. So I was on daddy duty pretty much all weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So that was this past weekend, and that's pretty much it for real, man. We had a couple. I was able to play golf twice this week, which was cool, Monday and Tuesday, because the weather was great. And then this morning, I was just on the elevator up here, and I was talking to the lady on the elevator. She said, yeah, I was sitting out on my balcony last night until like 10 o'clock drinking wine because it was so warm. And then this morning, this is in the low 40s, as cold as I know. It's like a 30 degree drop in like less than 12 hours. It's crazy. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, everybody was outside yesterday.
yeah. Speaking of matter of fact,
wearing tank
yesterday,
tops.
we had a so yesterday, one of my buddies, my boy Jerome, shout out to Jeremy, he had his like holiday party, Christmas party. He has his own settlement company that he opened up towards the end of last year, earlier this year. So they had a Christmas party there at a restaurant called Ibis. And so that was cool. I went out last night, Brooke and I both went. It was pretty cool. On a Wednesday night, middle of the week, that normally doesn't get to happen. So it was cool, man. We had a lot of people came out. I even invited a lot of folks to come out as well. It was good food, good drinks. Everybody raved about the food. Like, I need to actually get back there and like sit down and have a dinner there, because both times I've been there, it's been like an event-based situation. And so I haven't really been able to sit down and enjoy myself. So that was last night, though. It was really, really cool. We had a really, really good time. Everybody, I got a lot of text started this morning and last night about how it was, and, thanks for the invite or whatnot. So that's pretty much it. That's what I had going on. What you got going on, Sophia?
So the past couple weeks, let me see. I know that Amaya had her award ceremony. She made most valuable player on her team.
I know that's right.
That's what's up.
Yep.
Okay.
So did that. My kids, two of my kids had Christmas events at school, so it was kind of crazy. Last Friday, my son's was from 6 to 8, and then turned around that very next morning, my daughter's was from 9 to 12. So I did that. Just, normal volleyball schedule, running here, running there. Trying to think, have I done anything fun? I went bowling with my kids.
Who won? Who won in bowling?
Between Carter and Jada. Carter.
Really?
Yeah, it was fun. It was so funny.
They had bumpers? They had bumpers with them or nah?
For them,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, so like I bowled with them, but I very rarely do I hit a gutter. Very rarely.
Okay.
So yeah, just a gutter ball. No.
Yeah.
So it was funny because Jada was just looking at me like, you know how when your kids they really don't know what you're good at because they don't really like see you do it all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I was bowling, Jada was just looking at me and she just was like, how do you know how to bowl? Like, when did you learn this?
Like, we never had a life before,
right.
Yep.
And so she's sitting there, and then Carter, he's just all over the place. Like, it's weird because he writes with his right hand, but he bowls with his left. And he kept, like, trying to take his right arm and bowl on the left side of him. And so I had to go out there, and I was like, why don't you just put it in your left hand? And once he did it, it was fine.
That was it.
Then there was one
Ambidextrous,
situation.
okay.
There was one situation where we were next to these guys, and you could tell that they were part of a league. They had 100 points at like at the fifth row.
Strikes all across,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Fifth frame.
And tell me why Carter. This was right before he like switched to his left hand. He took that ball and slung it over, and it went in there.
Oh gosh.
I felt so bad because I was like, I don't know if they here practicing, trying to make their scores look good.
Oh wow.
But they were fine. They were like, no, this is exactly what we want. We request to be next to kids because we need to be focused, and they are all over the place. So we need to know how to focus,
Okay.
even when there's a lot going on. And I was like, you know what? I like you.
It probably makes some flashback to when they were kids.
Probably.
Cool.
So yeah, did that. Have I done anything fun? Have I been
We
anywhere?
need to do something fun then.
I don't think I've been anywhere. Have I been anywhere in the last couple? No, we had happy hour.
The happy hours.
We did have the
right.
happy hour at Cork and Bull. That was pretty cool. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. What about you, Rashida? What you been up to?
Sure.
I know you
I
taking
mean,
a social media hiatus.
I am. That's actually been really, really refreshing.
I
you
bet
know,
it is.
I decided to take a little break, end of the year
Mhm.
type break from social media, cut out all the distractions, and just wrap up the year and start my 2025 right. And it's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like you gotta be intentional about going online and looking up the news and stuff.
Yeah.
And things like that.
And look,
But
everything we talked about, you knew about.
I know it.
Yeah.
But I like being
I think that's
able
where I know for me, that's like a thing like I've never really fully, I would say, detox from social media before. I hear a lot of people who do it, and a lot of people say the same thing that you say. My thought process, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna miss out on something because I don't watch like TV that much unless I watch sports, and that's pretty much it for real. You know what I mean? My kids got the cartoons and stuff going on, so I kind of watch it with them. But I always be feeling like I'm gonna miss out on something. But it is true. Like I've noticed like the times where I may have just like been so busy that I haven't seen social media for like a day or two or whatever, I still am in tune with what's going on. You know what I mean?
True.
So,
True.
Yeah.
Well, I felt like it was it might hurt my business, blah, blah, blah. But then if somebody was serious, like my phone number and my emails all over the place.
That's a fact.
So,
That is true.
That's a fact.
just saying.
That's very true.
But it's been, I did cheat a little bit last night. I had to log on and market something real quick.
Yeah.
Log back off.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
other than
And
that,
you know what's crazy? Have you noticed since you've been doing this, have you noticed like you having a lot more time,
Yep.
right? Because you get, you don't have an Apple phone, do you?
No.
Okay, you
Galaxy
have an
girl.
Apple phone. Yeah,
Galaxy girly.
girl.
Yeah, she have our group chat on green.
Yeah.
That's the only complaint y'all got. I'm good,
So Sophia, I don't even know. I mean, I think everybody gets this. Don't you get like on like Sundays, you get like a text message showing like your usage of how long you've been on the phone for that week or like in front of your screen?
Yep.
Yeah. So like, I was going to ask you, had yours changed, but if you don't have an iPhone,
it doesn't apply.
Then, it don't apply.
I don't have it set to do that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't even know if I guess the phone comes
I've never
like that.
automatically.
Yeah,
come like that. I've never like went and did that. You know, I mean, maybe I could turn it off, but I know other Apple people I've talked to, they have that same feature where it'll tell you like, hey, you've been on your screen time for this week has been this. So I was going to ask you if you've seen a difference in yours. But yeah,
we have it. It doesn't give me an alert.
Gotcha.
But I try to cut out all alerts. You know, as soon as your phone dings, you're on your phone. Yeah. You know?
True.
Yep. That's true.
There was a Netflix documentary about that. I can't remember the name of it. But they say it tracks how long your phone has been idle. And then they can actually manually ding your phone.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy. And
I wouldn't be
that
surprised.
just starts it right back up.
Yeah,
like
I wouldn't be
habit.
surprised.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
real interesting. Okay.
They doing things, y'all.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I've been just trying to focus on like being more intentional, reaching out to people, reaching out to friends and families.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna get some Christmas cards, you know, things like that.
Sweet.
And just doing more like for me as well. Because you get lost. When you're in this industry, you will get lost.
For sure. Yeah.
And,
speaking of doing
and then the happy hours, that's been my little highlight.
Yeah.
So. You have to come out.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah. So speaking of doing something for you, I got a massage like last week, I think, maybe, or something like that. And it was like second best massage I've ever gotten. Ooh. So I'm a facial girly. Like I like to go get the facials, massage my neck, do my arms and hands, and I'm straight. That's good enough for me. And so I never really liked full body massages. And then I went to Houston for my birthday like 2 years ago, and it was the first full body massage that I had ever gotten that was like wonderful, right? So of course I've gotten massages in between time, but I went and got a massage one day. I had booked an appointment, but my daughter had called and she was sick. So I had to go pick her up from school, and it was right at the time of my massage, right? So I called a massage place, and I was like, hey, is there any way that I can reschedule? And they were like, nope. You know, you got to reschedule 2 hours before. And I was like, but, you know, this is a situation that's a little bit different. I got a call from the school. I couldn't just leave her there, you know. They were like, nope. So I was like, you know what? I'll be there. If I get the last 20 minutes of a massage, if you're going to forfeit my money, I'm going to be there.
I think that's what they say, standing on business.
Right. There you
standing
go.
on business right there.
10 toes down.
Yeah.
So I went, and I was there. I got 30 minutes of a massage, and it was so good. It was a 60-minute originally, but I only got 30 minutes. It was so good in those 30 minutes, I rebooked. I was like, I need a full hour. So I went back last week and I got the full hour. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is just like I remembered it.
And sometimes an hour, you're like, dang, it's over.
Right.
I'm going to tell you what, for me, like, you know, I got a massage for my birthday as well. And I can't do it. Like, hours, not enough time for me.
Right.
Like, I mean, literally, like, I need at least, like, I know some people do 80. Like, some places, they don't do, like, a full 90-minute, do, like, an 80-minute one or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, that's the bare minimum. I know even, like, when I'm going on vacation, they'll do, like, 100 to, like, a 2-hour one. You know what I mean? Wow. So, that one, to me, is a little bit long. Like, 90 minutes, though, is kind of like that perfect sweet spot for me. You know what I mean? 'Cause they can break. To me, I feel like they can, me as a man, like, my body's a little, you know, more firm, I guess you could say. So it's like I feel like they can really like take their time and like break my body down to different sections and get like each section like 15 minutes here, 15 minutes here versus that 60 minutes, man, be going by quick to me, man. I don't know. It may just be my mind, but I feel you I feel you on that. You
ever done deep tissue?
Oh, every time. That's what I gotta get. Yeah, I gotta get that.
Yeah. It was good. So that was let's just say I'm rebooking, and I will be there next week or maybe the week after. We'll see. I just got to figure out how to get those on the regular. Yeah.
That's what the lady told me when I got my massage. She was like, it was funny because she was like really trying to get in because like I had like a whole bunch of knots in my back. And so it was funny. Like, it felt like she was saying like she was like chasing the knots because like she was doing certain things, like the knots was like moving. And so she was like trying to like get it. So she like got it. She was like trying to get it out of my body, she said, or whatever. But she was like, yo, you need to like go more often. Like she was like, you know, I know massage can, you know, be an expensive habit, but she was like, you know, your body is definitely needed. I've always had like my back from playing football has kind of always been jacked up. So, you know, I hadn't gone to the chiropractor lately like I normally do. So I'm pretty sure that the chiropractor was kind of giving me some stress relief in that way and some, you know, releasing the tension. So with me not going recently, I feel like I know that's probably where it's, you know, also stemming from. So.
Well, sound like you had a masseuse, because, you know, some of them just be going through the motions.
Yeah, no, I always tell them, because they always ask me, I'm pretty sure they ask, they always ask you like, hey, what kind of pressure on? I say, give me what you got.
Oh, you
give me
like
what you got.
tissue.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I need it. Like, you know, because, you know, again, my body, like it's, you know, they just kind of rubbing and doing it. It feels a little good, but it's not really doing nothing. You know what I mean? They need to really, for me, get down in there and really kind of
So
like
do you walk away sore?
I do. I do. But it's a relieving feeling though too. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, see, I look at it, I look at it as almost kind of like, but it's not to that degree. But like, you know, when you work out, right? You work out, you leave sore, but you feel better. Like you feel like you've kind of like, you know, your body feels like it's like feeling, you know, a lot better. So that's kind of how I like to feel in a massage. Not to that point where I'm like sore like that, but you know, a little sore here and there in areas that they probably touch that I'm not used to really, you know, moving around or whatever. You know, ain't too bad for me.
I'm more like an in-between type person. It really depends on what I need.
Yeah.
So I've learned that I like a massage where they do a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Based on the last few times, and when they don't do that, that's when I don't feel good. I feel good when you're like kind of stretching my arm, but you massage or stretching my leg, but you like pull my toes, like you know, you gotta.
Right.
But I don't like anybody to dig. Like I remember I had a knot in my back, and I swear it felt like 25 minutes of my massage was them trying to get and I was like, that doesn't feel good. Like I don't want to walk away feeling like I got beat up. Like
that's that deep tissue. Sometimes you need it though.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's true.
I have what's called ankylosing spondylitis. Okay. It's a autoimmune type thing. So I kind of have to get deep tissue sometimes and tell them where to work. So like, it really depends. And like the stretching and the mobility, like they have to actually sometimes get into my hips and like move me. And, but like chiropractic don't really work for me either. Yeah. So I kind of have to.
You have to do that.
Yeah, makes sense. You know? Makes sense.
Yeah, that does. That does.
The chiropractor, I won't be walking the next day sometimes, you know?
Yeah, chiropractor, I mean, for me, I just hadn't gone recently, but I've been going to the chiropractor for the last, like, 6 years, I want to say, you know? Just getting adjustments. At one point, I was going weekly at the beginning, and then I started going every other week, you know? But I just hadn't went to it recently just because time, and it just kind of, it's one of them things where it's like, you know, after a while, it's like repetitious, and then when you lose repetition, it just like, it kind of just gets further and further away, you know?
And that helps with your football.
Yeah. For me, it's playing football, and then it's, you know, I've always had jobs where I sit down. I've been doing, you know, the mortgage thing. So my posture, even like me sitting here now talking to you, like I always hunch over like my back because it just feels more comfortable in that state than straight up. Because my spine is like, you know, like I said, this is how all that trauma I've had.
They have these things that you could put on. And it's almost like a.
I actually got one.
You put it on, and then it sits right here, and it actually you can't come forward. Correct. It makes you sit straight up.
And so I do. So I got one. I got one. Oh, my mom got me one. Shoot. Couple of Christmases ago, I want to say, and I tried it. I wore it in the pants. No, I thought he was gonna. No, I did. I tried it. It's my mama. I gotta try. It's my mama giving it to me. Like, come on now. Like, Mom Dukes is a little different. It's a little different.
She watching
like, my mom was trying to worry about my well-being, make sure her son back straight. You know what I mean? Like, so I tried it. She got it for me during the pandemic. I remember that's when she got it for me, and so I tried it, but it's just so uncomfortable, man. Like, I found myself just like, I mean, it just was like, yo. During the pandemic. So, I mean, I may need to revisit it and, you know, and try it again, but it was just so uncomfortable, yo. Like, I kept having to stand up and just do things to kind of just get my body back in a comfortable state.
That's probably forcing you to.
It is. No, that's exactly what it's doing. Right. But I'm just being honest about how I handle it, you know.
Get back to it.
Yeah, I will. I will.
So I know that you're here as a special guest, and we wanted to jump into some real estate stuff. So when it comes to real estate, our primary question when we bring on a real estate agent is, what is the craziest thing that you've experienced since you've been in the industry for the past 2 years? And it can be anything. It could be walking through a home, the type of home, maybe the other side of the transaction, maybe dealing with a lender like us. I mean, it could be any story that you want. You don't have to say names at all, but just describe the situation.
Well, I ain't going to talk about my lenders now. Y'all be saving us.
I hope not.
It'll be funny if you came over here like, well, it was this one time.
Right? Yeah. And let's start tweaking over here a little bit, you know what I mean? But look, and after this, we're going to talk about your situation when I actually helped you buy a house here. We had to jump through some hoops to make that. I think a lot of other folks would have made that happen. You're right. I think you would agree on that, right, Rashida? Okay. So go ahead and answer Sophia's question, though. Yep.
I think it's always the showings. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's okay. And me being military, I'm niched down in the military, so a lot of my buyers are like out of the state, out of the country. Mm-hmm. So I do a lot of like virtual. I do a lot of recordings for them, so I can send it to them and they can play it back as many times as they want, But I remember I was helping a young couple, and I was in this house, and I was going through, and you know how you go from room to room and you have to turn lights on and stuff like that. I walked into this one room going from like the bathroom into it. I think it was like a Jack and Jill bathroom. So I went through some random door, and it was dark in the room, right? I saw this weird silhouette laying in the bed.
Hold on. Where's this story about to go? Hold on. I'm sitting here like, hold on. I'm nervous.
Recording, right? Okay. But I'm recording and I'm talking as I'm recording. I just stop and I'm silent and I'm looking. I ain't turn no light on. I was like, I think I cussed and I was like, I'm like, y'all, I'm sorry. The show is a wrap.
Whoa.
I like my life more than my license. Let me tell you that.
Right.
So I think they were laughing.
Life over life.
So hold on. So what was it? Yeah, there was an actual person in there.
It looked like a person.
Oh, so you never figured it out.
You just exit stage left. Yeah. You probably handled that right. They're not buying that house, right?
I don't know. I was willing to go back if they needed me to. Bring somebody with me. I don't know. Bring something with me.
That is hilarious.
So this was like a bedroom? You said you're going to like a bathroom. So it was like a bedroom off the Jack and Jill bathroom?
Right.
You know what it probably was? One of those live sex dolls?
No. I don't know what it was. But I was not about to. I left the room dark. I ain't flipped no lights on. I just like, you know what, y'all? And they understood.
Right.
And usually they understand. There's been times I've been in houses where some random door went to something that I wasn't about to go into. They understand,
Yeah. That's hilarious.
No complaints.
Yeah, that's
wild. I have one.
But that was like the second time that happened to me, though.
Oh, for real?
For real.
So
I showed another house
wow.
where somebody was home, but it wasn't the owner. And the owner it was like the owner's like cousin or brother. He had no idea they were there.
Oh, wow.
The owner didn't know that they were there.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Well, I had to leave that one. I had to leave too.
Yeah, because that's weird. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So there's this one time, me and Rashida had a client together, and we did a open house. No, not an open house. What's the thing after you close? Housewarming.
Oh, housewarming.
Did a housewarming. Went to her housewarming. And so we're sitting around and we're chatting. The lady had all her family and stuff there. And she was like, they started talking about this one house that Rashida showed. So I'm like, what house are y'all talking about? She was like, girl, the client was like, girl, you got to see this. You got to see this video. So she walking through the house beautiful. When I say it's super nice house. So Rashida did her due diligence. She go outside to the backyard. She showed the backyard. And so then she was like, hold on, wait. She was like, I know that's not what I think it is. She got up on what did you stand on?
I think my tippy toes. I don't know what I was standing on.
She looked over the fence. It was a veteran's graveyard. I'm talking about like where it's like line after line, just probably hundreds.
Yeah.
Acres.
Yes.
Acres.
Damn.
Right in the backyard.
Damn.
That that you wouldn't have seen unless you actually went out there and looked.
So were you looking over a fence?
Like a 6-foot fence.
Okay, wow.
So I had to lift my
like a memorial cemetery.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
And we were like, I remember like looking at the house and watching this video, and it was the craziest plot of the whole video was the cemetery. And I was like, I couldn't imagine living with these people in my backyard. I mean, they no longer living, but they got souls.
Yeah.
Like there's no way.
It happens a lot, actually.
No way.
And, and when I do virtual showings like that, I try to really do it as if they're there with me. Yeah. And so I try to keep it as detailed as possible. Yeah, all the good things and all the things that I see, So I was like, I ain't panic or, I try to stay calm. I was like, well, you guys, there's a cemetery back here.
Not try to influence anything.
Right.
I get it.
Because sometimes your tone can lead.
Yeah, they do.
That was funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I had... So I haven't had a personal experience like that, but there's another agent that I work with as well, and she told me this scenario happened one time. It was crazy. She called me like right after it happened. So it was one of her listings, right? So it was a house that she was trying to, no, excuse me. She was representing a buyer. And so she went, it was a house in Norfolk, and it was like a rehab. So the person, the investor had bought it, I guess, and fixed it up or whatever. And so she said that she went back for the final walkthrough, and then there was like a squatter living in the house when she went back for the final walkthrough, and it startled her. And she said the squatter actually pulled a knife out on her.
What?
Yeah. Because the person, I guess, was like, the house, from my understanding, the person had pretty much been living in that house regularly. And so they came to do the final walkthrough like towards the evening time when the person got off of work. And so the person was like laying on, they didn't have no furniture down like the house, but the person was laying in the crib, And so the person pulled a knife out on her. So she ran out the house, but luckily the buyer was with her. And I forget what profession he was in, but from my understanding, he was a pretty big dude. So he was able to kind of like de-escalate the situation a little bit. And the dude still ended up buying the crib too. He ended up buying the crib, but they ended up like calling the listing agent and then like, I guess getting the police because the guy just wouldn't leave. Like he literally pulled a knife out and was like, no, this is where I live. Like basically saying, hey, I'm living here.
Yeah,
like,
he was trying to utilize those squatters.
Yeah. So they ended up calling the police, and then like the police essentially escorted them out the property. And then from my understanding, I hadn't really followed up with her about that particular situation, but she never told me like there was any other type of incidents dealing with that particular, person
That's
as
good.
well. But that was anytime
That's
somebody,
crazy.
when I talk to agents, sometimes get like stories like what you just mentioned as well. That one always sticks out in my brain.
That's crazy.
Because my wife, she has her real estate license, and she doesn't really help people buy houses at all, but she may get like one of her friends or something who wants to buy a house, so she'll represent them. And so like anytime that she like goes and shows houses with them, typically I normally go, but just in case there's some type of like crazy situation that arises, especially if it's like she's showing like another woman who's going to be by herself. So it's just them two, you know what I mean? Like, because you never know when some situation like that could happen, which is crazy, Yeah.
It's important to protect yourself, get your concealed carry if you got to get your concealed carry.
For sure.
All that stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know, like my situation with the brother, the cousin, like I wouldn't have known that he was there because I think he ran to the bathroom or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You probably scared him too.
I probably scared him.
It was probably a two-way feeling.
Yeah.
You're probably, who the hell in this house?
Yeah.
Besides me.
Right.
Yeah.
And the person I was with was a man too, so thankfully,
Yeah.
But
That's crazy. That's great. So let's jump into when I remember, and I trying to remember a little bit, because how long ago was it when you bought your house? You bought your house, it was during the pandemic too, right?
It was.
Yeah, it was like 2021, right? Yeah. But remember your situation, like we had to kind of like maneuver it and, dance around things a little bit to get it done, because
a lot.
I'm not mistaken, you were technically, your orders technically were in Germany, right, at the time. You were living in Germany, and you were trying to buy a house here, and so most folks know, like when it comes to, and she, obviously military, when you're VA, you have to like be living in the home, right, as your primary residence when you're buying it, right? The intent has to be there for that. So, you know, you knew that you wanted to get back to this area. You knew that you were gonna like, you know, I know you have a daughter. You're gonna try to, you know,
get her to a specific
school in a certain district and everything like that.
That was a priority.
Yeah. So I just remember like, you know, typically in those scenarios, you know, when you're buying a house, you have to buy it where your orders put you at because you didn't have any orders here in Virginia at all. So, you know, go ahead and expound, I guess, if you don't mind, as far as like the scenario and what you were trying to accomplish and how we were able to maneuver a little bit.
Shoot, first of all, buying a home sight unseen is hard.
It's tough. Very tough.
It's tough. So that's where I can relate the most with a lot of people.
Yep.
And a lot of trust in I wasn't a real estate agent at that point.
Yeah.
So a lot of
I'm
trust.
trying to remember was it
Katie?
It was Katie. Oh, Katie. That's right, Katie. That's right. Yeah, Katie. That's
my
right.
girl.
Yeah, Katie.
So
That's what's up.
so having a lot of trust in her to help me out with that. And you know, I do have family in the area, so they help me out with that. But I think the hardest part was you asking me for my commander's information and their signature. And I was like, it don't work like that, Bryan.
Yeah, it don't work like that. I was like, yo, get somebody.
My commander's office.
I said, get somebody, some superior, somebody just to be like, yo, like, you know, hey,
right.
I need you. I need you, you know what I mean? And we was able to get it done. Yeah. We was able to get somebody to look out for you.
Man, that's why I tell people all the time, I said, they gonna stress you out. I was like, I'm gonna do what I can to alleviate as much, but it's gonna stress you out.
Yeah, buying a house is a lot. See, most people are used to buying cars. Honestly, that's just
that's the biggest purchase they'll make.
Yeah, sure. Some people that's the biggest purchase that you'll make. And so when you walk into a bank, for the most part, I think nowadays they're probably starting to ask for check stubs sometimes, especially when you're buying like a $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 car. Well, but for the most part, you don't have to show any proof of income when you buy a house. You just have to have the credit to qualify
and the payment. Car.
The credit.
So you said house
for the car. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
For a car. You just have to have the credit to qualify. And so when you're buying a house, there's a lot more verification that is done. I mean, we need everything besides your DNA.
Your firstborn.
Right. We want your firstborn information second. We need to know how many dependents you got. You've been divorced? Okay. You pay alimony? We want to know everything, you know? So you have to expect that everything that you tell us, okay, that's one thing. Now you got to prove it.
Correct.
You know? So
you can't take people at their word.
No, you cannot take people. I remember this one time, this guy, he had a court order. And I kept asking him, do you pay child support? When I tell you, he denied child support till thy kingdom come. He was like, no. And I was like, wait. And I'm trying to clarify. I'm like, look, I understand that you may not pay it, but are you obligated to pay it? Like, is there? He's like
trying to say the right word to unlock that answer.
Because sometimes people will only answer the question that's gonna pop up. So he said no. So I said, okay. Do you have a court order? Yeah. Oh, okay. You got a court order. Let me have that court order. You know, it was a 12-page court order. He redacted or he took out like page 7 and 8. And gave me all the other pages. Now, a lot of people don't notice that anytime it's a legal document, even if it's like your bank statement, it's always going to show one of one, one of two, one of three, one of four, and so forth, right? So obviously I can see at the bottom of this court order that I'm missing page 7 and 8.
Yeah.
So I call him, I'm like, where's page 7 and 8? What's on that page that you don't want me to see?
My dog ate it. Yeah.
So I finally get it. He was like,
he's in the rear.
Well, I mean, I don't pay child support even though that's what the court orders say. That ain't what I asked you, bro. That's not what I asked you. I asked you if you were obligated to pay child support, and at the time you said no. So now this changes your approval. Now you have to make a down payment. Now you may not qualify for this house that you're looking to buy. And we had to jump through so many hoops. I think we had to get spark funds. We had to do so much because he decided to lie. And thank God we were able to save it and get it done. But it's like, just tell the truth. It's gonna unfold, whether it's in the court order, whether it's showing on your pay stub, whether it's showing on your credit report because you haven't paid it, whether the money's coming out your bank account. We have 4 or 5 different ways to verify one thing. Yeah. So just tell the truth.
And it's crazy because me being in this industry for as long as I have, it's like, and that's why I know a lot of times people keep saying, they think, we're going to be like in a big recession when it comes to like foreclosures and things of that nature, right? And to me, I remember, and the number one factor was when people were having those situations, it was because of, just like what you mentioned, Sophia, like back when I first got started, we didn't need documentation. Like, it was strictly your credit. Like, so we pulled your credit. If you got good credit, you could tell us you made $1 million a year. We would be able to give you a house based on you telling us you made $1 million a year. You know what I mean? And so that was literally what it was. They called it, the term was called.
Bought a house back then too.
Right. Well, see, I mean, the term was.
Back then though, they were putting everybody in those adjustable rates. Right.
Yeah. So it was one of the two. So I mean, they were doing, absolutely. They were doing that as well. But like that was the term called stated income. So when I first got into business, that was the thing, like, hey, stated income. That's all you needed to do is, if you got their credit, they meet the credit requirement. The next thing was just to have them have them tell us what they made or whatever. And it's crazy because one of my, I'm gonna say favorite movies, but a really, really good movie that really depicts this is called The Big Short. It's a movie that came out where, they actually showed like, they had like a stripper who had good credit who was like in the club dancing and she bought like this big, huge mansion who she couldn't afford because she really didn't make that amount of money she said she made. And what ended up happening is once those payments start kicking in, people were defaulting in them. And so therefore, that's kind of really what the catalyst was, on top of like what you mentioned, Sophia, as far as their arms, where maybe their payment was a lot less at the beginning. And they always, everybody always thinks, well, I'm going to make more money in 4 or 5 years. I'm going to make more money. And then life happens and then you may not make less money, but you may not, you maybe have more obligations now. And then therefore, you can't afford that new note that happens after that adjustment period.
And that was also in conjunction with, there was no caps on anything back then. So your rate can be, you can go into that home at a 2%. And then within 2 years or 3 years, whenever that first arm switched over, your rate would be like 20%. There was no max to what your rate could be. So people's payments were like quadrupling.
That's right.
And that was the reason why they couldn't afford those mortgages anymore, because it was almost like they got them pre-approved for that initial rate, not thinking about, well, when this increases, will they be able to qualify for that? And they weren't really like explaining how that worked back then. Yeah.
Even now, a lot of people are still, I won't say ignorant, but still not familiar with the fact that just the mortgage itself is fixed at this point. So, I do my best. Along with you guys are really good about it too, but just still educating buyers.
Yeah, I always tell buyers, they think of it as like a auto payment. Your insurance always changes, right? Same with your house. Your properties here in Virginia, you pay property taxes. So I use that as another comparison. Property taxes change. Guess what?
Your mortgage is going to change.
Your mortgage property tax is going to change.
HOA could change.
Yep, everything can change except for that principal and interest, unless you are to refinance it or sell it, and you're out of that obligation. But it's now in regards to real estate, I saw yesterday that the Fed rate came down. Jerome Powell spoke yesterday, and it came down by what, 0.25%? Quarter of a point. However,
everything else.
Everything else, exactly. You hit it right. Nail on the head. Yeah, it was good for the Fed rate, but in return, that did drive mortgage rates up. So, I know that you said you jumped in and you saw that rates had increased by like point.
Yeah, close to 3/4. It was like a little over half a point. So because it's funny, I got yesterday. Literally, I got like, it's funny. It's just funny people, man. I got like right around, because they made the announcement around like 2:00, and literally within 10 to 15 minutes, I got like 3 or 4 people hit me up. Hey, the Fed cut rate. Hey, can I do that? Can I refinance this? Can I do that? Or hey, can I? Because I got a buyer who's shopping right now. Hey, does that give me more buying power? And so it's just funny. I have this conversation. That's why I like to have this platform on the podcast to say this, that's not the same thing. No. I get that all the time. I even see people, posting stuff on social media kind of, outlining that it is, but it's not, really, the Fed rate, the reason they're cutting the Fed rate is because inflation is still high. It's not going down as quickly as they would have liked. And so that is an indication that inflation still isn't there yet. So when you do something like that, that actually is an adverse reaction, or has an adverse effect, I should say, when it comes to mortgage rates, right? Because mortgage rates increase in an inflationary, market. So right now, with the Fed coming out saying like, hey, we're going to cut the rate, which they did yesterday, and then they're saying that they don't really see very many cuts in the future, that's saying that, hey, inflation isn't getting like they would like. And so those comments really is what shot rates up yesterday. Yep. So, yeah, man. So it's a couple people, man, I had to kind of leave them on red because I had a busy day yesterday. A couple people I responded to that I knew that there was like an active situation that we needed to get to.
You should have copied and pasted.
Yeah, I mean, because I tried
They were not under contract, so the interest
a couple people were just like, one person is like actively looking at properties right now. Other person was a refinance. Other person, they said they wanted to buy a house at the top of the year, and so they were waiting, but they wanted to see how if that changed their buying power, because they're not really happy with what they're qualified for right now, right? Because of where rates are. Yeah, so just one of those things I wanted to, at least, I think we've said this before many times before, Sophia, but I just wanted to make sure I said it again because it's just one of those things where a lot of people think that, hey, the Fed rate is the same as the mortgage, rates. It's not. And it's not. It's actually the total opposite of it. I always tell people, because I get that question a lot as well. Like, well, what do I look at? Like, what do I do to monitor, like, what the direction the rates are going? And so a good thing that we always look at is the 10-year Treasury. So the 10-year Treasury, typically whatever that's doing. So when you look at like a graph chart or, and it shows like the movement of the 10-year Treasury on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis, like that's a good, barometer as far as what rates are doing. So if the 10-year Treasury is up that day, that means rates are up. If you see that the 10-year Treasury is down, that means mortgage rates are down. Okay. So that's like a good thing. I wanted to mention that here on the podcast. And that's what I always tell people, because a lot of people are like, hey, how do they may not have access to some of the different things that we have, because we're licensed, loan officers. Yeah. But that's something that the public can easily access. You can go online. I mean, you can go on CNBC and they'll always have it streaming at the bottom or on the right-hand side, like the 10-year Treasury and what's going on for the day. So
noted.
Yeah.
I mean, even the stock market dropped.
Yeah, tremendously. Yeah, I got
because of that and his comments and everything like that.
Yeah, it did. It did. A lot of people.
Hopefully, y'all got some stocks on sale.
Right. I did. So I it's funny you say that. I actually recently my buddy been putting me on to like trading options. So it's a form of day trading. It's not like really like a true day trader in a sense, but it's just like, when you trade options, you're essentially able to get 100 contracts of a particular stock, and then you could trade the movement of it. So you can trade, if it's going to go good on the call side, or you can trade on the put side. And so, you can look at, so yesterday I made a good amount of money because what happened was I'm in like this Discord group chat where there's the guy who's very savvy with the market. And so, we talk in the chat all the time or whatever. And so, after the Fed remarks came out, he was like, you need to put some money on the put side. And so we all did that. And like you said, I mean, like the stock that we typically trade on is Tesla. Tesla and Apple are the two ones because they have a lot of volatility. And when you trade options, you want a lot of volatility. You want a lot of up and down because that's when you make money when it goes up and down. And I like that trade option because it's, a lot of times people only make money when, the stock's going up. Like really, you can make a lot more money when it's going down. You know what I mean? Because if you could predict like when something so obviously with that news happening and you see the news, and then Tesla's been going up, and it hit its all-time high. So typically when the stock hits its all-time high, it's going to have to kind of, reset itself and come down. And so, it came down like literally. It hit 480 yesterday, and then it came down to like 430 something yesterday. So it dropped like a whole like 15%. So we did well. Did well on that one.
I put a few calls in before Mr. Jerome jumped online.
Mr. Jerome.
Mr. Jerome.
I said Jerome's in the house. Watch your mouth.
So I swear I used to do options.
I sweer I thought Jerome was a black man. Nah. Until you go Google him, you know like,
he is the only. I ain't gonna lie. He the only Caucasian Jerome I know. The only one.
Yeah. And we don't even
one of my best friends, his name is Jerome. Like he came to the event last night. Yeah, I'm just like, he a Jerome.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that ain't the same type of Jerome.
And Powell. Powell.
Yeah.
Powell, Jerome Powell, right?
Two.
Yeah.
He got two
They do.
predominantly black names.
Yeah, he do.
His parents was like, "Yeah, we're gonna name you Jerome. You look like
We're gonna name him after our favorite cousin.
Yeah, our favorite cousin.
Play cousin.
Yeah.
Let me stop. But no. But the stock market is definitely a skill I think everybody should learn.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when you can make money in the up and down.
I
market.
need to learn because
But it's
I
no
don't
different than
know.
real estate. You can make money in the up and down.
100% too.
Real estate
yeah,
too. So.
yeah. I like to have. Yeah, I mean, it's that's
You
the
know
thing.
how
I
to
feel
do
like. Yeah, I feel like knowledge is power, as they've always told
Mhm.
us since we were kids, man. I mean, you can learn something, you can acquire the understanding of how to do something, man. You know, you can really that's what I'll say. I'm not trying to be mean. I even tell this to I talk to my sister about it, and even my wife. Like, the industry that they not the industry, but where we are now, and like where we live, like there's so many different ways to try to make money. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as you work and put and learn, because you can learn, you can make mistakes or whatever here and there, but you should not be not making money. Like, I mean, the Ubers and come out. Like, it's so many different things that you can do. Really, if you just apply yourself.
I didn't catch
Uber,
it. Oh, okay,
like
okay.
Uber. Like, I mean, like, hey,
When
if you can't get a job here, you can people is
find
always
a way.
people always
Yeah.
need to get taken
Nowadays.
places. I mean,
Right.
Uber Eats, DoorDash. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like I helped a dude recently last year who Ubers here locally, which we're not like a metropolitan area, right? Made $120K a year
Ubering. I met
Yeah.
somebody like that too.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I helped him buy
And
a
then
house.
he
He
rents
bought
the car.
a really nice. He bought
Right.
a $400,000 house, and his wife is a stay-at-home mom, and his job, and he's an Uber driver.
And he probably rents the car too. It's like
Oh,
not
I don't
his
even.
car.
Yeah, I don't even
That's
know.
the
I mean,
dude
I don't even know. But I mean,
I met did
Yeah,
that.
that
It's
makes
just
sense
Yeah.
to me. That
Right.
makes sense because that's almost similar to you renting a space
Right.
for a
Yep.
business, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you rent
It's
that
probably
car,
And that's
put
what I'm
all
saying.
the
Like
miles
tax
on
write
there.
off.
Yeah.
It's a
right.
yeah that,
and that's my point. That's what I'm saying. Like, I
Play
mean,
it
it's so
right.
many different ways. I mean, I
Yeah.
got one of my buddies, his wife, she is like a big thrifter, right? So what she'll do is she'll buy stuff. She'll do like the e-commerce type
Like
of thing.
arbitrage.
She'll buy stuff and then sell it on the internet.
Yep.
And like, put she buys something from the thrift store, buy something somewhere for $10, she'll sell it for $15. And she just does that for a living. And she loves it. I mean, she makes good money doing that at a high level. You know
so
what I mean?
there's a girl who's actually in Hampton Roads that I follow on social media, and she does that. She literally buys pieces, put them together, and makes like fashions from it.
Ooh, I wish I was that creative.
Yeah, I ain't that creative either.
I know, right?
Yeah. But I'm just
But
saying,
I love
if
it,
you
though.
hustle
I
and you
love
put
that,
your
right.
energy
I
and
love
effort
seeing
towards the
it.
right thing,
Yeah. I love seeing
I love seeing it.
Yeah.
yeah. If you like I said, if you hustle and put your energy and effort towards the right things, man, I feel like anybody can make a way out here in the internet stage that we're in. There's so many different ways to kind of go out here and go get it.
Exactly.
So,
And then the amount of information. I mean, you have to be careful with what you're looking at, but
Correct.
still, like, me being 41 now, 20 years ago, we didn't have this much information.
We sure
so,
did.
like, I'm over here, like, having to force my daughter. I forced her to get a broker account and start putting money into something because she's working now,
Yeah.
Man, she fought me. She fought me tooth and nail.
But I'll say this though, we all. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak myself. I did the same thing when it comes to I feel like obviously things are different, but we have that dynamic of parent child. It's the same. It's a lot of the things that we kind of get on our kids for, man. And my kids are much younger, but I have those conversations and I see the stubbornness in my kids and they want to do certain things certain ways. We did the same thing when we was coming up there. Our parents were trying to give us a little game here and there, and we tried to push back.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but this one she
absolutely.
wasn't gonna push back on.
Yeah.
I let her push back on something.
I also feel like we know. Well, I can speak from my own experience. I feel like I know at this age that I am. I feel like I know, and I've been exposed to a lot more than what my parents were.
Oh yeah,
at this
right.
age.
Yeah, because we
They
grew up in the
did
internet
what they
age.
could
Yeah,
do.
the internet
Right.
era. I mean, like you said, exposed you. We know way more.
We just know
100%.
way more. So it's kind of like, let me put you on game. Like I'm a millennial. Like we got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like we have like our childhood where we lived in that age where you didn't have much, right? And you just had to go outside and play, and you had to figure things out, right? But then as we got older, we had internet, so we really got the best of both. I mean, you got people before us, they don't really have that. You know, they're still trying to get to know the internet, still trying to get to know how to trade stocks and things like that.
Yep.
Or even when it comes to home purchase and things. But then you got the Gen Z where they don't even know how to work a dial tone phone. You know, it amazes me. I feel like the best.
It's like they don't really know what they have.
Correct.
A lot of them. Some of them do.
We're the
Some
best.
of them are killing it.
Yeah.
When it comes to it.
Some of them. Yeah, some of them.
You know?
Yeah, some.
Some.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel like we're the best. Millennials got the best of both worlds.
They do.
Yeah.
So my daughter, she has a little broker. She got her little money going towards the ETF, and you know, so
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's good.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
yeah.
That's good.
Now, you know, we always got to squeeze in a little BS
Oh, yeah.
at the end of our mortgage spiel. So what you guys seen in the news that you want to talk about?
One thing I was going to mention is shout out to the home team, man. I seen my guy Mike Vick.
Oh,
Yes.
Accepted the head coaching job in Norfolk State.
Behold.
So yeah, behold, here we go. Yeah, so yeah, he that's huge, man. Like I think
huge.
a lot of people obviously see the impact that Deion Sanders has had on Colorado and you know that area, and you know even with Jackson State where he was at beforehand, and obviously you know being there for his sons and a whole bunch of other you know, young athletes, man. So Vic, you know, growing up here, I played football here, played basketball here. Vic was looked at as like the Mecca, like you know he made it out of here, grew up in Newport News, bad news as we call it. And I mean, he was the best. He's transcended the game. Yeah, now, yeah, he's like the first black quarterback to like make it on that level and be like a number 1 overall draft pick and really do his thing. So for him to, you know, come back and actually now coach Norfolk State, which is shoot right around the corner from here, man, I think it's going to do a really big thing for the city. You know, I'm already looking at trying to get tickets for the games, you know, next year, take my son out there so he can see that representation in that way, man. So I'm excited for that. That was something I seen that came out earlier this week that I'm really, really excited about. You know, and it's not really like BS and drama.
Be crazy.
Yeah,
It was already crazy this year.
Homecoming was fun this past year, but homecoming next year is fun.
Yeah.
Norfolk State homecoming is always a good time.
Right.
Yeah. That was a good
definitely gonna be even
experience.
better for sure.
That was my first time actually being in the yard.
Mine too.
At homecoming. Like I've done it outside of homecoming, but for that specific weekend, that was my very first time. And so it was me, you, and a couple of our other friends, and then my homegirl, she's a Delta, and it was their 20th. So she was a 20-year Delta and 20-year since she graduated from college. So we had music, food. I mean, we were just it was really good. The game was good. They won by 1 point.
Yeah,
it was a good game, very competitive. It was, you know, the band came. I think you missed the band when they came down the when they came down the street before they got into
them coming through.
Not the parade, because the parade was early that morning. This is when they actually are the game's getting ready to start and they come down there.
I missed that part.
Yeah. That was cool to see them.
But I didn't mind because I ran into my daughter. Yeah, my daughter goes to the school, so we bumped into each other a couple times, you know. And
so that was really good news. What else has happened? Oh, I saw that there is an attorney in Houston. She's the first Black attorney to acquire a Berkshire Hathaway, which I thought was pretty cool. Let me see. What is her name?
I feel like that's going to happen a lot more.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Along with the coaching.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we said, though, you know, we're exposed to a lot more.
Yeah.
A lot more people are aware, so they can make bigger business moves.
I always love the trailblazer, man, the one who kind of makes it. Because to me, it's all about, I feel like in our community, at least for me, I know for me as well, the biggest thing is the belief that it can be done.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when you see someone that looks like you in those positions, you now have something to aspire and try to actually, you know, obtain and try to do. But when you don't see anybody like, you know, like when I didn't, you know, I never saw a Black president until I saw Barack Obama, you know, so seeing somebody, you know, run the country in that way that looks like me, like that shows me like, yo, I really can like do more. Like that gives you a lot of inspiration, you know what I mean? You know, versus, you know, sometimes in, you know, different areas that you don't really see that representation.
And then the resilience part of it.
Absolutely.
Her name is Tiffany Curry.
Tiffany Curry.
That's what's up.
Curry.
So watch out for Tiffany Curry.
Yeah.
Yep. Congrats to her. That's
and
huge.
I think her company is Tiffany and Company, I think.
Oh, okay, little play.
Was that blue box, right?
Right.
That'd be pretty cool if she do something.
Tiffany Curry and Company.
I like it.
Yeah, that's
that'd be pretty cool if she do like maybe like kind of play on that in some form or fashion. I'm always thinking about like marketing and branding, so
think big.
That'd be pretty cool. She maybe do like give the keys in like a blue box or something like that.
That would be
As
that
long
would
as
be.
she
I might need to holler at Tiff, right?
Kind of
Hey,
legal.
look,
Let me put you on.
Let me put you on game.
You got some good ideas.
Hey,
you got the vision. I see you. Go ahead.
I be out here sometimes.
Go ahead and
with a
send her a
little something,
message.
You know what I mean? Yeah. What up, Tiff?
Tiffany Blue.
Right.
Yep.
What else? Anything else y'all seen?
Luigi.
Look,
Nobody knows his last name.
I don't
We
know
just
his last
Luigi.
name either. Look, Luigi. Luigi got caught.
Yeah, he did.
Luigi got caught.
Yeah.
That man is loved and hated.
Yeah,
Both,
he is.
depending on who.
What side of the fence you on?
It's kind of like,
crazy.
from what I gather, it's people. They're not down with the murder, obviously, right? Nobody wants. Well, most people don't want to see someone else's die, especially in the hands of another human, right? But the cause, like why he did what he did, that's what they're on board with, you know. And he obviously been through some trauma, maybe a family member, whatever the case. You know, there's a lot of what you said earlier. AI, I didn't even see that. It was an AI
they
denials
from
or something.
People to AI being the one to approve and deny.
Yes,
and that was a whole mess.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a lot of their like older elderly family members died because they couldn't get their prescriptions.
Yeah,
they were
and there wasn't
denied.
even a person who could, it was like you said, it was
almost like you couldn't get in contact with anybody to rectify it or to like put human eyes on it to make sure that this wasn't a mistake. Is what I'm. So it's bringing a lot of people, a lot of these healthcare companies to the forefront to figure out what is going on and why a lot of healthcare,
probably AI too, all of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know that there's this show that I've been watching, The Ultimatum. I don't think we have much time to kind of go over it, but I guess we'll touch on it when you watch the reunion.
Okay.
So
I gotta watch it. Period.
Yeah, you gotta watch it. Period. But we made some predictions.
And your boy Bryan was right as always when it comes to predictions. 4-0. 4-0.
4-0.
Yeah, it was four different
couples.
Okay.
So talking about shows. Like, dang.
And I was 3-1. 3-1.
Yeah.
That ain't bad too. That's a nice little. That's 90%.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So
we'll rap about it. Like you said, we had it, coming up on time, so we're not able to go into detail. And like you said, I hadn't seen the reunion yet. So our next episode we'll kind of recap it all.
Yeah, we'll recap it all. Well, we do want to thank you for coming onto the podcast. We hope that you had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and this is the last one we're doing for this year too.
Yep.
Right? Wrap up 2024.
Yeah. So 2024 has been. It's been a good year to me, man. I feel like it's been a lot of ups and downs as always.
As
always. I feel like
that's inevitable.
I got sharper, wiser, stronger, throughout the year, man. So I'm definitely looking forward to 2025 and seeing, what's in store.
Yeah.
What about you? Y'all excited for the new year to come?
I'm excited. I already have like an idea of how I want to rebrand and remarket the business and stuff. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and I'll shout out to you too, man. Like you said, you've been in the business for 2 years. And you killing it, man.
Yeah,
I've been on a number of transactions with you. Just like your poise, we've had some difficult situations come about. I remember Toya, her situation. You know what I mean? Like, so
I just spoke to her not too long ago.
Oh, you did too? Yeah. That's what's up, man. But she, not just her, but just we've had some different things we had to maneuver, man. And I always like when I feel like when I'm working with an agent, like we are both like at this together. Like it's not like some type of friction between the lender and the agent. I feel like when we're kind of working in tandem, it just makes, the process a lot easier for all parties involved, man. So I just want to shout out you.
Thank you.
The blessing,
Thank you for that.
to come on our podcast, man, and share some stories and things of that nature.
Thank you.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you for inviting me. I hope I get to come back.
Oh, yeah,
this was
for
fun.
Sure.
Yes, if you're a real estate agent and you're in the area and you want to be featured on the podcast, please reach out to myself or Bryan. You can contact me on social media, or if you know my personal cell phone number, you can always text me or Bryan. You could reach me at, what is it? I am Sofia KB. Look,
don't forget that.
I am Sofia KB, and you can follow the podcast online at, what is it? Let's Talk BS PD. There we go.
Yeah, and you can follow me on our, like she said, reach out to me as well. Mine's just my name, Bryan _Royster. Facebook is just Bryan Royster. So
Don't forget with a Y.
With a Y, definitely.
Brian
with the Y. With the Y. The best way. The only way. The way my mama made it. You know what I mean? Or named me, I should say. You know?
Yeah. And if you guys need any help, any assistance with real estate, you can follow me on Instagram at rashida.michelle.realtor.
All right, guys. Well, we thank you for watching the podcast, and we will see you next week.
Nah, see you next year.
Year. Yes, year.
There we go.
Happy holidays.
2025.
Yeah.